I think one of the spots you're saying it's right here. So you have the bird cage. So here's 22. Buckskin Frank Leslie killed Billy Claiborne here on November 14th, 1882. So right here in the middle of the street, I think is where that stuff happened, right?
Yep. And so it says on November 14th, Buckskin Frank Leslie had an argument with 20-year-old Billy Claiborne in the Oriental Saloon. Leslie made Billy the Kid leave, but an angry Billy came back with his Winchester. He was waiting, it's windy, waiting in front of the Oriental. Someone warned Leslie that Claiborne was there. Leslie went out a side door and walked down to Allen Street. Claiborne got off one shot but missed. Leslie didn't. He fired twice and Claiborne fell near a fruit stand in front of the Oriental and died.
So let's video out here. Yep. Just watch out you don't get trampled. Yep. If you remember, we were in that, what was the Oriental when we did the tour of the movie set. We were in the Oriental for the movies.
Now, number 23 is the Oriental Saloon, which is on where the Chris. Oh, this would have been the Oriental.
Right, it's the Oriental, but I think the plaque is probably.
Where are we going next? That's number 23.
So, okay, and that's across the street right there.
Yeah, historic location number 23, the Crystal Palace Saloon. You want to look at the pictures on the video.
Well, we'll show that later. So you can keep talking.
In 1880, Benjamin Wefritz and they had weird names. Siegfried. I don't know. Trevoulet, I don't know. Opened the Golden Eagle Brewery on the corner of 5th and Allen. They featured a German-style lunch offering Swiss and Limburger cheese, sardines, pig's feet, smoked halibut, herring, head cheese, and obviously cold beer.
And no liverwurst though.
Later it was called the Fredericksburg Lager Beer Depot. The Golden Eagle Brewery was burned in the 1882 fire. When it was rebuilt, it was a much larger two-story building. 80 feet were devoted to the Crystal Palace Saloon. It was lavishly furnished and showcased a fountain and goldfish pond in the center of the room. Wow. Dr. George Goodfellow, who became renowned for his treatment of gunshot wounds. I turned the page, but it's windy, so give me a second. Had an office on the second floor, as did Marshal Virgil Burke. The Crystal Palace has had its share of ups and downs over the years. In 1914, state prohibition closed all the saloons, and in 1950 it was renovated and reopened as a theater. It featured variety shows, comedies, dramas, and motion pictures. Of 3 real motion pictures shown was Universal's The 10th Commandment. After Prohibition, the Crystal Palace Saloon was reopened in the early 1960s. The Crystal Palace was purchased by Tombstone Historic Adventures. They restored the Crystal Palace as it was in the 1880s. The Crystal Palace still sits in its original location and remains a popular saloon in Tombstone.
There's no, where does it show that the plaque is, if there is one?
Right here.
No, that's where the guy got shot, so it might be further down.
Or maybe there isn't one.
Yeah, some of them didn't have them. Yeah. This is the epitaph, I think.
Yeah, that's number 24.
Oh, okay. So
24 is the epitaph.
All right.
And let me read about 24.
It opens at 9 or something like that, 9:30. 24.
The Epitaph newspaper was founded by John Clum in 1880. In the beginning, he called the paper the Clarion, but changed it when he decided that every tombstone needed an epitaph. The first issue was published on May 1st, 1880, on a printing press housed in a large canvas tent on Fremont Street. Tombstone's first newspaper, The Nugget, was across the street As one may imagine, the two newspapers quickly became rivals, frequently engaging in editorial fencing. The Nugget newspaper burned in the fire of 1882, but the epitaph survived. John Clum was a colorful character. Once an Indian agent on the San Carlos Reservation, he was elected mayor and served as postmaster before selling the epitaph and leaving Tombstone in 1882. The epitaph has had many owners over the years. It moved from a two-story adobe structure next to the Gird Block on Fremont to its present location on Fish Street in 1927. It was purchased by Tombstone Historic Adventures, headed by Harold Love and the family. In the 1960s. It's still owned and operated by the Love family. So much of Tombstone's history was written and preserved by the newspapers. Daily events, social events, fashions, church services, lives, deaths, disasters, natural and unnatural, and economic conditions are preserved on their pages. Issues in the late 1870s and early 1880s are available on microfilm in some historic collections. There's a picture of it in 1927.
Yeah, it looks the same as it does now. Well, we come back when it opens and we can go in there.
Yeah.
When I'm not trying to get shredded, we'll have to go back and get something to eat.
Yeah. I want your apple pie.
Oh yeah, there it is. Logan's Alley Bistro. That's got to be where the bowling alley is.
Where it is. Was, yep.
Yep.
There's a little marker in front of it.
Yep, so we'll go over there and take a look at it.
In 1879,
James
James
Earp.
Bogan and Jim Flynn opened a saloon, 10-pin bowling alley, and wholesale liquor store on Ellen Street. Tucson paper described it as an elegant place. Oh, it says the same thing. It says on the page.
Yeah, 25. That's pretty cool.
Okay, number 26 is Short Shot Storms, which is
27.
26 and 27 are right there.
Yeah.
But I don't see a marker for 27, but
I think it marks itself, right?
mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we're back here. I already took a picture of it, so there you go. 26, 27. But we'll walk over and we'll check out the plaque. But yeah, the Longhorn.
Yep.
And what was it again? It was the Huachuca.
It's called the Huachuca Water Company Owl Cafe and Tourist Hotel.
Huh.
So let's read about that one.
I never knew that. So they had a water company. Well, they did have a water company because you know the water. They have that pipe that comes from the stream up in the Huachuca Mountains. I don't know. It's like 50 miles away from here, and they did pipes, dug the pipes all the way. You know.
Well, it says the first business noted at this location was the Palace Saloon in 1881. A new two-story adobe building was under construction to house Myers Clothing and Huachuca Water Company.
Oh wow.
On December 28th at 11:30, Virgil Earp had just left the Oriental Saloon and was crossing Fish Street. Would-be assassins were concealed in the new building under construction and opened fire with 10-gauge shotguns. Virgil was stuck in the arm and on the side. Buckshots from the shotgun blast was embedded in the walls and canopy posts of the Crystal Palace across the street. Dr. Goodfellow was summoned and found it necessary to remove portions of the bone in Virgil's arm, leaving him no further
I'm gonna
use
walk
of the
down
arm.
here. Let's walk.
Later in 1880s, this became a well-known and popular saloon called the Bucket of Blood.
Nice.
Wow. In the early 1900s, the building was known as the Warner Crows Building. In 1920, the building was purchased from Mrs. Warner Crows by Josephine Roth and remodeled into a tourist hotel. In 1928, Joe Hood, a former sheriff, purchased the building and opened the Owl Cafe and Tourist Hotel. It operated successfully until 1942, when a fire broke out, thought to have begun in the cook's quarters. It spread quickly, and low water pressure hindered the fire department's effort. The metal well, that looks nice.
Yeah. Yeah, I always want to eat. No, you're okay.
I don't want to eat.
He's like, I don't want to be in the video. And look, Kenny, did you get that?
Oh yeah. I didn't even know there was a plaque up here. Cool.